You guys are the first team ever in the 74-year history of the NBA to come back from being down 3-1 twice in the same playoffs. What do you have that no other team in NBA history?
Yeah. We believe in each other, man.
Wait, who won?
We play it all in night. Yeah, need it all in advance. The opposition know we're ready for it. Like a supper we eating, it won't be the last. Grind all the muscle, pull up. Parker right on the grass. We coming in, take over everything, run it up. Not that holding me back. 3 in the wood, rushing. I don't like Dutch, don't even matter, you know I'm facing. When I roll a paper, I like to go double. Run up a check, flip a W, make it an M.
Okay, welcome to Takeover, the most underrated sports debate show on YouTube. And we back with another one. We're outside Staples Center today, and we got some news.
We need answers! I think my name is Josh. I really don't know. Up is down, left is right. Dogs, cats are living together. Introduce yourself.
My name could be Cam, and this is Takeover.
So, obviously, the massive, ginormous elephant in the room is what happened in Game 7 of the Western Conference semifinals. The Nuggets prevailed over the Clippers after being down 3-1. What just happened, Cam?
So, before I give the Clippers, I think, what they rightfully deserve from all the hype, I want to give respect to the Nuggets first.
Absolutely.
Like I always do. When I'm wrong, I definitely want to give respect to the other person first. Let's look at, I think the trouble started ever since 3-1, just like it did last season. Last series with the Utah Jazz. Jokic Game 5, 22, 14, and 5. Murray 26, 8, and 7. These are all must-win games. They're doing a job again. Look at Game 6, 34, 14, and 7. And Jokic shot 60% from the field, executing over and over and over again. And Murray had an efficient 21 and 5 that game too. And then it comes down to Game 7 right here. Murray, an efficient 40 and 5. And then Jokic shows, to me, his signature game where he shows that he is the best passing center to ever touch a basketball. He shows that in a pivotal Game 7, what I think is going to be one of those games that makes his career, with 16, 22, and 13. But now that I've given the Nuggets the respect I feel like they deserve, I'm going straight for the head with this one. Okay. I've heard it from the LeBron fans, and I'm not going to say it's all on Kawhi Leonard. This is hugely on Kawhi Leonard, though. The pressure of this moment, this is where Kawhi is supposed to implement, I'm here to stay, I'm better. And he didn't do that to me. He had one of the biggest choke jobs I've ever seen. You look at, like I said, I regarded Kawhi as the best player in the world. I said that. And the Clippers, in 3 of these games, blew a 10 to 15 point lead. At some point, Kawhi got to take over the game and be like, hey, I'm about to take us here. And he did not do that not one time. And in the Game 7, he shoots 6 of 22 and only has 14 points. And with a plus minus of negative 21? That's him?
Apparently.
That can't happen. The same guy who left Toronto, a solid team, to go play with Playoff P.
Nah, he's not Playoff P.
Playoff P!
Playoff P never existed.
The same guy who did that. This loss is reminiscent of the 2006 Lakers, when they had the 3-1 lead versus Phoenix, and Kobe couldn't pull it out, even though he even shot efficiently in the loss, though. But Kawhi was building a house out there. Kawhi, honestly, had put the mask on. He gave us the biggest robbery almost in NBA history. We wanted to see the Clippers and Lakers so bad. The biggest robbery in NBA history just happened.
You mean robbing us of the series?
Robbing us of the series. I think that was one of the biggest and anticipated series, almost the passing of the torch series, and we didn't get it. We did not get it because he could not execute when it mattered. And I know I'm taking a bit of your time here. This is one of my longest takes. Lastly, Doc got to go. He's got to go at this point. I'm sorry. I love Doc Rivers. But when you blow 3-1 leads as a coach, and two of them were with the Clippers, that's not going to get it done. You were assembled a monster roster. You got, honestly, the best defensive team in the NBA. You got the best two ways all on one. Yeah, on paper. They're too nice. Who's even saying if they played the Lakers, they're knocking them off in 6. It's too much defense. It's too much scoring. He's got to go. He couldn't get it done. He got outcoached by Michael Malone. I think you got to send Doc away and get rid of PG because I don't know what he's doing. He forgets how to play basketball when it's time for the playoffs.
It was a great take. I think that's personally my favorite take that I've heard you give on this show so far. I don't know where to start. I'm going to start where you started, actually. all the respect in the world to the Denver Nuggets. I think, because you were slandering him in the last episode,
You're right.
Nikola Jokic in this game showed why he should be considered a top 5 player in the NBA. Because he did everything for that team. And Jamal Murray had a big input with the 40 points. But Jamal Murray does not score 40 points without Jokic passing out of every weak to-the-face double team that Doc Rivers was sending that man's way. Because instead of double teaming when Jokic's back is turned, he decides, I'm going to take this passing big man, right? And I'm going to let him know, hey, a second defender's coming from this guy. Do you think you can find the open man? So I think I'm gonna use that to transition into your last point. Doc Rivers needs to be gone.
So.
I respect him as a former player. He was a very good point guard, and he did what he needed to do in Boston. But at this point, I really think he's coasting on that success. He won 1 title in Boston because he had the original Big Three. And now he's been the Clippers coach since 2013. He's had Blake Griffin, Chris Paul, DeAndre Jordan, Paul George, and Kawhi Leonard. And he hasn't gotten out of the second round. He's blown, as you said, 3-3-1 leads to arguably inferior teams. At this point, Doc, I think you need to be shown your marching orders because I don't see how you're going to make this better. The only place I want to give pushback is that it's all on Kawhi.
I said mostly. I didn't say all. I didn't say all. Well, go ahead.
Even mostly. Kawhi did everything he could in this series. In Game 5, he had like 36. And in Game 6, he had he played a decent game. Like, his worst game was Game 7, which he should have stepped up absolutely 100%.
Right.
Like, there's no excusing the abysmal performance that we saw from him. But in the end, this is just the first blemish on his record.
Yeah.
To me. Like, he did what he needed to do in San Antonio. He locked up LeBron in that finals. He took the Raptors to the promised land. I think it's the first real sign of adversity other than that big injury that he had. And so, to me, this is just a chance for him to rise above and once again say definitive. I mean, this was his chance definitively to say, I am the man. But this is his chance now to prove even because now he's got doubters. I mean, we've seen the memes. Y'all seen the memes on Instagram.
Definitely.
Everybody's making fun of the Clippers now, acting like they didn't pencil them in as their title favorites when they all signed. But anyway, the one thing I want to say is I want to call out Paul George. Paul, dude, I used to have so much respect for you. I used to have so much respect for Paul George as a player until he went to OKC.
Okay.
And it's not nothing OKC did, but I don't know what happened. Once he forced his way out of Indiana, he's talking about, oh, that guy took a bad shot. Then you should be able to stop it. And then he forced his way out because he wanted to win a championship. But it wasn't championship or bust this year? It was the chemistry? Nah, bro. It's because you shot 4 for 16 in Game 7. I don't know where the hell Playoff P came from, but he never existed.
Simple as that. Keeping it on the NBA. I know you saw a band with a block heard around the world.
Nasty.
Honestly, the way it looked, it almost like a goaltend at the end of that
Low
play.
key, but
low key looked like one.
He met him up top.
But with Miami with the 1-0 lead, what are your takeaways so far with Game 2 coming in?
My takeaway is that the Miami Heat continue to prove me wrong at every turn. I thought the Pacers were going to give them at least a fight in the first round.
I did too.
And they swept them 4-0. I said on this show, the Bucks were going to beat them second round. And they took them 4-1. And when they went against the Celtics, I was like, it's over. Because the Celtics do everything that they do better. And the Heat pulled it out. So at this point, the takeaway is, everything that I think about the Miami Heat, the opposite is going to happen.
Right.
So, the Celtics, I think they still had a shot in this series. I think they have more than a shot. I predict the Celtics to win. But I don't even know what to say no more, bro. The NBA this is personally my favorite playoff so far. Since I really started watching the NBA because there's parity. I don't know what's going to happen.
So the Heat are this tough and grimy team, straight out the gutter. They're followed by their leader Jimmy Butler. Doesn't look like anything can knock them down. But I picked Boston early, and I'm sticking with that pick.
Absolutely.
From Game 1, only thing that I saw, because I mean it was a tight game. This was basically down to the wire. I mean, it just looked like Kemba and Jason Tatum couldn't close out at the end. But to me, the key to this series that I've seen, especially in Game 1, is going to be Kemba Walker. I don't think Goran Dragic can guard Kemba Walker. I think there's too many scores for even to put Jimmy on just Kemba Walker. As soon as he gets out of that pick and roll action, I feel like Kemba's the most dangerous player on the court. And as skilled as Jason Tatum is offensively, I think that Kemba Walker still on the Boston Celtics team is has the best offensive game on the whole entire team. And this series is going to come down to is he's going to make shots or is he not. Kemba Walker's that killer. They brought you in for this reason because Kyrie didn't work out. Mm-hmm. You're supposed to be not the anti-Kyrie, but the Kyrie that kind of works because he kind of does the same thing. He's a discount Kyrie if you really think about it. And he's that type of guy who's going to make points. Jason Tatum had a great game, 30, 14, and 5. He's going to hit big shots. He's going to play big in this series. I think, especially with Marcus Smart becoming a shooter out of nowhere, he shot 6 of 12, makes 6 3. If Boston can keep up this level of play, and I think ramp up the defense maybe, I think they're going to be able to still win this series. But shout out to the young Miami Heat stars as well, because you look at guys like Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero. Those guys are making the best decisions right there, and they're not scared of the moment either. You saw the shot. You saw the shot.
There's some bad white boys.
It's scary to see, and the Miami Heat are a dangerous team for sure. So going either way, but I'm sticking with the Celtics in this one.
Absolutely. I think the Miami Heat are the closest thing you can get to the bad boy Pistons in this day and age, because they're very much in the mud.
They're out the gutter.
Yeah,
the whole team.
The whole team. We're gonna switch to the NFL now. Switch gears. Week 1 of the NFL, come and gone. Great to have football back in our lives. And it's early, obviously, but week 1 takeaways are a given in the sports media world. So, to you, who's the most impressive team that we saw?
To me, is no one other than the Seattle Seahawks. Russell Wilson. I know you learned the hard way. Russell Wilson, without a doubt, hasn't missed a step from last year. He threw for 322 yards, 4 touchdowns, with a passer rating of 143.4
incompletions.
Just look great, especially that pair with how Metcalf and Lockett both had 90 yards over receiving. This team looks full. I mean, compare like those. I think the Seattle Seahawks and New Orleans Saints on both sides look great, because you think about it, especially how DeAndre last. DeAndre's missing. We didn't even acknowledge that. Yeah, DeAndre is taking a break from this show. You will see her, I'm pretty sure, next episode.
Absolutely.
But she's here anyway, because behind the scenes, that's all her too. But back to my take. When you look at what all these guys can do, I said them and New Orleans Saints honestly are the most balanced teams, because you got Bobby Wagner in the middle and you got Jamal Adams. They have the best linebacker and safety tandem I think they have in the NBA. In the NFL. In the NFL, my bad. Not to I mean, even though it was against a team as inferior, as not good, and they struggle. They keep saying coaches. They're in Atlanta.
You can finish your point there, Cam.
Oh, okay, my bad.
We know you're talking
although they played against the Falcons,
There you go.
Great performance week 1, and through the first 3 quarters, like they shut the whole Atlanta offense down.
So when we talk about most impressive, I think while the Seahawks were impressive, 100%, I do not disagree with that. They were impressive. They did play the Falcons.
Correct.
Who we all know are breaking into a few new starters. They got a few people coming back from injury. And for whatever reason, they like to be very disorganized in the first week. So while they took care of business, I wouldn't say that's the most impressive. The most impressive performance to me was the Arizona Cardinals, because the Arizona Cardinals showed significant growth as opposed to where they were last year, as opposed to where they are this year.
Gotcha.
They took on the defending NFC champion in the San Francisco 49ers, and they outplayed them. Their defense stepped up, and while Jimmy Garoppolo was dealing with some adversity, George Kittle was hurt, Deebo Samuel was hurt, Brandon Ayuk was hurt. He didn't have the same weapons that he would typically have. The Cardinals did what they had to do. They took care of business, and on the arguably the best defense from last year, the defense that is most stacked with talent, both on all 3 levels, they put up 27 points. DeAndre Hopkins, which
he had more receptions than the Texans.
For a quick second, I would like to address 2 things. One, San Francisco, next time you're going to cover the number 1 receiver and don't leave him wide open half the time. Second, Bill O'Brien, I don't understand why you decided to pay Randall Cobb, David Johnson, and Brandon Cooks about the same amount that you would be paying DeAndre Hopkins, when DeAndre Hopkins just had 154 yards.
More receptions than all of them.
I think it's just proving to us that Bill O'Brien has... Bill O'Brien? Is that his name?
Yeah.
He has no business being in an NFL front office. He should just stick to head coaching. But to me, that's why the Arizona Cardinals are the most impressive, because everybody showed growth And I think that we're now seeing that this Cliff Kingsbury offense might be for real. Because if they can do it on the Niners, they can do it on plenty of teams.
The NFC West is going to be something.
It's a bloodbath.
Something.
That's a bloodbath.
Something. Well, all right, guys. Going to close out our episode. Josh, you have anything to say for you?
Not really.
Not really? Nothing more?
Yeah. Except bye-bye Doc Rivers. It's been real. It's been nice. I like your raspy voice, but I don't think you know what you're doing on the sidelines right now, sir.
That's it.
That's about it, yeah.
And although Breonna Taylor's family did get the money they received, that doesn't do it for me. I still need cops persecuted and arrested for what happened.
Absolutely, 100%.
Takeover out, guys.
Yeah, we play it all tonight. Yeah, need it all in advance. The opposition know we're ready for it. Like a supper we eating, it won't be the last. Grind all the muscle, pull up. Parker right on the grass. We coming in, take over everything, run it up. Nothing holding me back. 3 in the wood.